Καλησπέρα σας κυρίες και κύριοι. Καλώς ήρθατε στο Thrakinet και στην εκπομπή Ευρώπη Τώρα. Θα είμαστε μαζί τα επόμενα λεπτά για να παρακολουθήσουμε τις εξελίξεις από το Ευρωπαϊκό Κοινοβούλιο. Μπορούμε να ξεκινήσουμε με το πρώτο μας θέμα. Δημόσια έγγραφα. Έρονται οι περιορισμοί για την ελεύθερη κυκλοφορία τους. Οι ευρωβουλευτές ψηφίζουν για τη μείωση της γραφειοκρατίας.
Moving to another European country to work or study should be an easy task, but administrations tend to frown upon legal documents issued in other member states. To remedy that, MEPs adopted a report which should make it easier for every citizen.
La naissance, l'adoption, le mariage, le partenariat, l'absence de casier judiciaire, les droits électoraux, ça va faciliter la vie de tous les citoyens qui habitent dans un autre pays que ceux dans lequel ils sont nés.
This sort of thing, it's just basic common sense of what people need in their modern, everyday way of living today. Moving from one member state to another is not a big decision in the way that it used to be, but the implications of doing so still need big assistance from an EU level, and I hope that we've been able to provide that.
MEPs do not intend to stop there. They will push for standardized documents for all European public administrations.
Ο Μάριο Ντράγκη μιλά στους ευρωβουλευτές για τον αντίκτυπο που έχει η μετανάστευση στην Ευρώπη, τι ρόλο παίζει η Ευρωπαϊκή Ένωση στην ελληνική κρίση και παραμένει αισιόδοξος σε ό,τι αφορά την οικονομική ανάκαμψη της Ευρώπης.
The signs we've been having in the last few months show actually that things are improving. The recovery is continuing. It's slow, but it's stronger and broader than in the past. It's now taking place also in so-called formerly called stressed countries, non-core countries. And it's driven by consumption and of recent also by investment, and that's another positive sign. On the migrants, it's quite clear what's happening is changing and will change deeply the social texture of the European Union. I should say that the sale of banks was an entirely national decision. The ECB had no decision-making role in the sale of these banks. About being accountable to the Parliament, we are accountable to the European Parliament, not to the national parliaments. That's why I'm here, and I'm responding to your questions.
Οι ευρωβουλευτές συζήτησαν για την υλοποίηση της Ενεργειακής Ένωσης, μίλησαν για την οικονομία και το χρήμα, ενώ ζήτησαν μια διαφορετική προσέγγιση του μεταναστευτικού ζητήματος.
53% of the energy consumed in Europe is imported from third countries, mainly Russia. It's a dependence that comes with a big price tag, 400 billion euros. And so Europe wants to build an energy union. The objective is to secure and diversify supply and develop renewable energies. On the eve of the COP21 in Paris, the Energy Committee put forward a series of measures. This week, the spotlight was also thrown on the aviation industry. It employs more than 5.1 million people in Europe and represents 2.4% of GDP. At the Brussels mini-plenary, MEPs adopted a resolution to guarantee fair future competition whilst upholding security and employment standards. The Commission is expected to incorporate these proposals within the aviation package by the end of 2015. A busy week for the Economic and Monetary Affairs Committee, hosted both Jerome Dijsselbloem and Mario Draghi. The Eurogroup president's focus was on Greece, in particular the insolvency of households and non-performing loans that all threaten the stability of the country's banking system. The president of the European Central Bank, Mario Draghi, assured on Thursday that the ECB is ready to take further action if the inflation outlook weakens. Relocation of refugees finally kicked off. The first 30 left Greece for Luxembourg at the beginning of the month. At the Valletta summit in Malta, the President of the European Parliament, Martin Schulz, called for a long-term approach with African partners. The European Parliament has now allocated €2.3 billion in trust funds for both Africa and Syria. Spitzenkandidat, the process that helped choose the president of the European Commission, was the success of the European elections 2014. MEPs now want to officialise that experiment by amending EU electoral law. The text voted on by MEPs at the plenary on Wednesday also foresees the introduction of mandatory thresholds and making it easier to vote from abroad. However, no agreement was reached over strict parity on the lists or over lowering the voting age.
Ο Υπουργός Εξωτερικών της Γερμανίας συζητά με τους ευρωβουλευτές για τα τρομοκρατικά χτυπήματα στο Παρίσι και για τα διπλωματικά σχέδια για το μέλλον της Συρίας.
Die Rezepte, wie wir mit Terrorismus umgehen, liegen auch nicht auf der Hand. Keine der Antworten ist einfacher geworden. Nach Paris sind eher noch schwieriger geworden.
Je crois qu'on a dans le traité de Lisbonne une clause de solidarité européenne, c'est l'article 222. Si un État membre est l'objet d'une attaque terroriste, l'Union, je cite, mobilise tous les instruments à sa disposition, y compris les moyens militaires à sa disposition par les États membres pour prévenir la menace terroriste, pour protéger les institutions démocratiques et pour assistance à un État membre sur son territoire.
Wenn wir uns alle auf Luftangriffe beschränken, dann gilt das, was auch jemand von Ihnen gesagt hat, dann werden wir viel Wüstenfläche bombardieren, aber keinen Fortschritt gegenüber ISIS.
Φορολογικές αποφάσεις. Οι πολυεθνικές εταιρείες αποδέχονται την πρόσκληση για μια τελευταία ευκαιρία. Ας δούμε το βίντεο που ακολουθεί.
The LuxLeaks scandal took a turn for the best as involved multinationals finally appeared in front of MEPs and answered tough questions on their taxation schemes in several EU member states.
Go on saying that they agree with the principle that the taxes should be paid where the profit is made. So there are really a lot of inconsistencies in their words, in their speech, and this confirms that we have got to move forward in terms of legislation.
But Amazon, Coca-Cola, Facebook or HSBC are not yet out of the woods as the special committee mandate has been prolonged.
We got a lot of documents very late. We haven't got many documents, and that is a clear disrespect of the European Commission and the Member States, and we need definitely more time. There is a clear signal of the taxa coordinators to call for an extension of the mandate.
By the end of November, MEPs will vote in plenary a report that should ensure transparent and fair corporate taxation throughout Europe.
Η προσέλκυση των λαμπρότερων μυαλών αποτελεί προτεραιότητα για την Ευρώπη. Τα δικαιώματα για τους φοιτητές και τους ερευνητές πρέπει να αυξηθούν.
Lassane Yamayogo is a doctoral researcher in communications and journalism. Since 2012, he has spent half of his study time at his partner university in Belgium, the Free University of Brussels. Coming from Burkina Faso, it is an enormous opportunity for him.
Les conditions ici, il y a une ouverture qui évidemment permet aux doctorants de pouvoir aussi avancer et de découvrir d'autres milieux, d'autres chercheurs.
For non-EU students and researchers, the visa process is often highly complex, each country to its own set of rules and hurdles. To overcome this, agreement has been reached to facilitate mobility, a must for Europe.
We need them, and the demography of Europe is pointing out that we need to attract skilled people from outside the EU in order to foster growth and prosperity.
The new agreement will allow third country students to obtain a visa more easily and enjoy greater mobility in Europe. Researchers will also be able to bring over their families and stay for up to 9 months after the completion of their placement, giving them the time to potentially find work in Europe. The text is set to be endorsed by plenary before the summer.
Τιμώντας τη μνήμη των θυμάτων των επιθέσεων στο Παρίσι με μουσικές εκδηλώσεις και τήρηση υγιής. Ο πρόεδρος Μάρτιν Σούλτς δήλωσε πως οι προσπάθειες υπονόμευσης της ελευθερίας της Ευρώπης και του διχασμού θα αποτύχουν.
The flag at half-mast outside, a moving remembrance inside. 4 days after the bloody attacks in Paris, the French national anthem rang out in the European Parliament hemicycle.
Les attentats de Paris étaient une attaque contre notre liberté, une attaque contre nos valeurs européennes et notre mode de vie.
Almost all MEPs were present. Speaking in the presence of Harlem Désir, the French Secretary of State for European Affairs, Federica Mogherini, the EU Foreign Affairs Chief, Jean-Claude Juncker, the President of the European Commission, Martin Schulz, stressed solidarity with France.
Dans la douleur, nous, Européens, sommes aux côtés du peuple français. Nous sommes unis. Plus que jamais, nous lutterons pour défendre notre mode de vie et notre société ouverte.
President Schulz also warned against mistaking the enemy.
Si nous suspectons tous les réfugiés de Syrie, alors nous confondons victimes et meurtrières. Ne nous laisserons pas empoisonner par le venin de ces criminels.
4 days on from the attacks in Paris, MEPs from all political flanks of the Brussels hemicycle remain united. It remains to be seen whether such solidarity will be seen in the Strasbourg plenary session next week.
It seems to be coming.
Πάμε τώρα σε ένα θέμα που αφορά τα κατοικίδια ζώα. Ενώ οι ιδιοκτήτες απολαμβάνουν πιο ξεκάθαρους κανόνες για διακοπές με τα κατοικίδια τους, πολλοί άλλοι τα εγκαταλείπουν σε καταφύγια ανά την Ευρώπη χωρίς νομική προστασία.
Say hi to Callie. Isn't she as cute as a button? But dogs like Callie are very different. Have you heard the phrase, a dog is for life and not just for Christmas? Well, in the case of Callie, she's just one of many of the abandoned pets you'll find in shelters all across Europe. This shelter for unwanted pets is in Brussels. The guests are mainly stray cats and dogs. At the moment, there just aren't the rules in place to help animals like these. Each EU country has its own rules, but generally it's for shelters, charities, and all of you at home to do all they can to help friends like these find homes too. But the good news is that for domestic pets like cats, dogs, and funnily enough, ferrets, they are protected by EU-wide rules to some extent. Are you guys ready? The rules governing them ensure that these pets can travel across the EU safely and without restriction. On average, 1 in 4 European households has a pet. Come on, Bimba, time for walkies! In 2013, there were 64 million cats and 66 million dogs in the EU. You see, before, travelling with pets wasn't so easy. Up until a few years ago, if you wanted to take your cat or dog on holiday, they could be put in a kind of quarantine and had to give a blood sample 6 months before travelling to make sure they were disease-free. But what about if you booked a last-minute holiday? Good girl, come on. Now all you need to do is get yourself down to your vet and get your pet one of these. For a pet to travel, 3 main conditions must be met.
Each dog, cat or ferrets need to be identified with a microchip or with a tattoo. They need a rabies vaccine within the 30 days if it's the first time they are vaccinated. They need a passport also. Some of the countries need also, they ask also for a deworming treatment within the 5 days before leaving the country.
It's always best to check with your vet if the destination country has set other conditions. Vaccine check, passport check, doggy check, and now all that's needed is to decide where to go. But remember, you can't take an entire football team of pets with you. If you have more than 5 animals, you have to be able to prove that they are participating in a competition, an exhibition, or a sporting event. Okay, ready? Should we go on our holiday? Ready? Ready? Are you ready? Okay then, let's go. Okay.
Στο σημείο αυτό, κυρίες και κύριοι, θα αποχωριστούμε για λίγα λεπτά και θα επιστρέψουμε πιο μετά με το δεύτερο μέρος της εκπομπής Ευρώπη Τώρα.